Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If this is your first time on the channel, consider subscribing as it helps out the channel, and give this video a like if you do like it. So this is a review for Hop, Look and Listen, released on the 17th of April 1948, and it has a blue ribbon reissue on the 4th of June 1955. It's the 521st of the series, and it's directed by Bob McKimson. I can't show you the full cartoon here due to copyright on YouTube, but you can find this on the Looney Tunes Superstars Sylvester and Hippity Hopper DVD set. It's quite a mouthful there, but I have a link below to that disc set, and it's also on HBO Max. So just a brief synopsis in case you haven't seen this one. So a baby kangaroo has, or a Joey rather, see, I know my stuff here, escaped the zoo and goes out into the city. Sylvester, meanwhile, is trying to catch mice using a fishing rod and thinks he's caught a giant mouse. And he gets scared, and the bulldog outside is just disgusted in how Sylvester can't seem to catch a mouse like he's supposed to. So, very convoluted, but it works, and we'll explain why in a sec. And with me now is my fellow kangaroo is my good friend Manny Cruz. Say hi.
Boing, boing, boing. That's hello in kangaroo-ish.
Yeah, because they literally sound like springs, right? They literally sound like springs. No. They're actually. I'm not going to go into the whole history of kangaroos here, but let's just say that a lot of them are more or less pests. Like there's just so many of them, and think of them as like deer. You know how in the US people hit deers all the time. It's a similar thing, but with kangaroos here. But in any case, let's go through some of the trivia first. So, this is the first appearance of Hippity Hopper, although he wouldn't be named that in this one, but it's the first one nonetheless, and he ends up being in 13 shorts, and just to put this into perspective, Tasmanian Devil, who's way more popular, arguably, and of course there's another Australian animal, was only in 5 shorts, so there you go.
A king-size mouse!
At the very end, there's a gag involving the two characters on a literal water cart or water tanker, and that is based off a very old saying, it's a time to get on the water cart, and it involved men who vowed to stop drinking, but they wanted to have a drink, and this would help their sobriety, so they would end up climbing a literal water cart to get a drink, just so that they don't break their sobriety pledge.
When you sees mice that big, with 2 heads, it's time to get on the water wagon.
And the next bit of trivia, this is kind of speculation, but I told Manny about this beforehand, and he seems to agree, but the bulldog appears to be a parody of Jimmy Durante in terms of his voice. Not the look, just the voice. And now I could be wrong there, but the voice definitely sounds like it, so there you go. So, what did you think of this one, Manny?
I probably saw this one a very, very, very long time ago, and I don't remember it that well because I remember the Hippity Hopper shorts better with, the later ones, and especially the ones with Sylvester Jr. Like, when I was watching this one, I forgot, I was like, oh, Sylvester Jr. wasn't created yet. But, these early McKimson shorts, the energy, the animation, I feel sad whenever I hear people bashing McKimson, especially his stuff. And, after the studio shut down and into the 60s, it was the most mediocre cartoons of the 3 units at that time. But, I mean, when you watch stuff like this, it's just like the guy was really talented. And then even going further back with his work as an animator, it's like, I hate when people sell him short. But this cartoon in particular, it's like, very, very enjoyable. They watered down Hippity Hopper as time went on. Like, I liked how he was a little bit more aggressive and more expressive in this short. And it was definitely a really, really funny cartoon. I got a big kick out of it. And we were saying before recording, just Sylvester's sloppiness is been cranked up, and I love it. I just love how sloppy his speech is in this cartoon.
Oh yeah, definitely really turned it up for this cartoon, and I absolutely loved it. I have not seen this cartoon for a while. In fact, I probably hadn't seen it since I watched it for the first time on that DVD set I mentioned earlier. The thing is, going into this again, I was sort of not as excited. Not because I know you're probably going to make some kangaroo jokes in a few moments, but it's just that the later ones are not as good with Hippity Hopper in them. And then I watched this, I'm going, oh yeah, Early McKimson is really funny. This is actually really good. Case in point, I love the running gag involving the dog, and I'm sure you agree that that's probably the best part. Just this dog's just how disgusted he is at Sylvester. He can't even catch a mouse like he's supposed to, being a cat. And later cartoons, they would replace the dog with Sylvester Jr. somewhat as being the one that's disgusted in his father not being able to catch a mouse. So there is that. But I also wanted to point out a few little bits. I like how Sylvester, he uses a rule in the beginning to measure a mouse. It's like, oh, they're too small. I don't know. Well, mice are supposed to be small, but anyway. And then later on, when he sees Hippity Hopper, he breaks up the rule anyway. It's like, yeah, mate, it's bigger than the ruler. It's big. You don't need it. You don't need it. Oh, and props to Sylvester for dressing up like a fisherman. I love those boots he wears as well. I think it's a nice touch. Like he goes all the way when he goes fishing. You gotta love that.
He is committed to his cause. You know, you gotta give him all the credit in the world.
That's right. Just like being a maid in a Toy Putty Tat, here is a fisherman. You know, he's spot on. Spot on.
I am smiling now because now that you brought up the maid and I Tall Putty Tat, and I just still can't get over how funny that scene is with the accent and the ill-fitting shoes that he's wearing.
Yeah, and here he's just got these boots. Just love the look of that. It's just. And the other animation point that I liked was how when the dog's just had enough and he's like, nah, that's it. I'm going to go after this mouse myself and I'll show you how it's done, even though I'm the dog. And he just tips his hat, even though he's not wearing a hat. I like that added touch there. You know, an animator doesn't have to do that.
Exactly.
You know?
It's just like, you know, that stereotypical tough guy tip your hat thing. Like, all right, I'm going to take care of this character. And it's, you said, completely unnecessary, but it works.
Exactly right. And you find that as the budgets went lower and lower, you'll find less of those touches because, you know, it's just cheaper for him just to do a walk cycle from point A to point B without adding that extra tip of the hat in this particular case. And I don't know, I absolutely love it.
I love too in this cartoon when Sylvester was being bounced up and hitting the roof. I noticed a musical cue, bum ba bum ba bum ba 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 bum, that I know was previously in Calling Dr. Porky and I think the Mighty Hunters, and I'm just like really, I love that cue and I'm happy Carl Stalling threw it in there. So just had to say that.
Just to slowly wind this one up, I mean, I'm giving this might shock you, but I'm going to give this one an 8, and I think because I was just surprised at how good it was, especially compared to the later ones, and I just found myself just cracking up laughing throughout the whole thing. But well, what say you? How would you rate this one?
It's definitely one of the better Hippity Hopper cartoons. It's a shame that it went down over time. It got a little more formulaic, lots of good energy, lots of funny stuff. I give it the same score, 8 out of 10.
Beautiful. You know, you're probably thinking, I better give the same score, otherwise he won't invite me on these things ever again.
Yeah. If I give a bad score, you're going to be like, I love the perspective shot of when the bulldog sees Hippity Hopper with his mom, and it's just like that nice, you know, from the ground up view, and you know how angry she looks and how happy he is, and I'm gonna be like the dog, like I love that part.
That's right. So before we finish up, yes, you can hurl whatever Aussie related thing you want. Go for it.
Oh, I forgot about it. It's like my references of kangaroos or quote unquote wallabies I know from Rocko's Minor Life. I know from Hippity Hopper, and I never saw the movie, but I remember how bad it was, Kangaroo Jack. So there's that. Good night, mate.
There you go. Well, I reckon on the next review, just talk like that. And I'll say, g'day, how's it going? You all right? Sweet.
You got some shrimp on the barbie? Oh, God. And then just make fun of me with, you know, pizza jokes and jokes about, you know, the characters from The Sopranos, you know, nice New Jersey jokes. Just throw them in, or Jersey Shore, even though they're not from New Jersey. Ugh.
for sure. Ask Rocco's voice actor if on how to do an Aussie accent. I suppose maybe he'll give you a few points. But we'll wrap it up here in any case. So thank you all for watching. As always, feedback is always welcome. And until next time, take care.
Come on, cats,
Boing,
let's get
boing.
out of here. When you sees mice that big with two heads, it's time to get on the water wagon.